Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister is in New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly's 79th session. The Information Minister says Pakistan's foreign policy is on a successful trajectory. The Finance Minister has reaffirmed the government's commitment to providing favourable conditions for foreign investors. The Commerce Minister has invited Belarusian investors to explore abundant investment opportunities in Pakistan. The Modi-led Indian regime has further tightened restrictions in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir ahead of the orchestrated visit by the foreign delegates. The United Nations has called for protection of civilians in Lebanon amid unabated Israeli attacks. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif is in New York on a 5-day visit of the United States to attend the United Nations General Assembly session. He is accompanied by the Defence Minister Khwaja Mohammad Asif, Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Tarer, Minister for Education and Professional Training Khalid Maqbool Siddiqui, and Special Assistant Tariq Fatemi. The Prime Minister will spend a busy day in New York today. He will attend a reception given by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres for heads of member states, where the Prime Minister will have informal meetings with the heads of various countries. The Prime Minister will also participate in the opening ceremony of the 2024 session of the United Nations General Assembly. He will also have a meeting with the President of the Maldives, Mohamed Muizzu, in which there will be a discussion regarding promotion of bilateral cooperation. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Tarer has said Pakistan's foreign policy is on a successful trajectory. Speaking to the media in New York, he noted that coordination and cooperation with friendly countries have increased. The Information Minister emphasized that Pakistan has great potential for investment and aims to convey this message to the world. He said the economy is heading in the right direction, with inflation coming down to a single digit. Responding to a question, Ataullah Tarer said Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif has raised the Palestine issue at the international fora. He emphasized that peace in Palestine is important for peace in the world. He reiterated Pakistan's demand for a ceasefire in Gaza and for holding Israel accountable for its crimes. He pointed out that Pakistan has sent humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people. The Defence Minister Khwaja Mohammad Asif has said no sustainable development can take place till tragedies like Gaza are perpetuated by the developed world. Addressing the United Nations Summit of the Future in New York, he called for ensuring global economic equity by improving the representation of developing countries in international financial institutions, reviewing the foreign debt architecture to make it more equitable, and adopting an equitable international tax regime. The Defence Minister said the adoption of the United Nations Pact for Future is an expression of the international community's collective determination to respond to global challenges, and called for upholding the commitments made in the game-changing document. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has felicitated Dr. Harini Amarasuriya on assuming the office as the new Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. In a statement on social media platform X, he wished her all the success. Shahbaz Sharif also expressed the confidence that the multifaceted cooperation between Pakistan and Sri Lanka will grow during her tenure. This is Radio Pakistan. The Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb says the rate of inflation is steadily decreasing due to the government's measures. He was addressing a seminar on CPAC Phase 2 and the region in Lahore via video link. The Finance Minister said confidence of the investors in the country has risen and the policy rate is on a downward trend. He said Phase 1 of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor focused on infrastructure development, while the Phase 2 will now focus on the monetization of Phase 1 and is set to commence. Muhammad Aurangzeb emphasized that the private sector has the potential to drive the country's economic growth. The minister said foreign investment in the country is increasing. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to providing favorable conditions for investors from China and Saudi Arabia and expressed the optimism about the success of the International Monetary Fund program. The Minister for Commerce, Jam Kamal Khan, has called for the establishment of joint ventures between Pakistan and Belarus in the sectors of industry and agriculture. Speaking at the Pakistan-Belarus Joint Ministerial Commission in Islamabad today, he emphasized that these partnerships aim to strengthen our industrial base, generate new employment opportunities, and facilitate technology transfer. The Commerce Minister invited the Belarusian investors to explore the abundant investment opportunities in Pakistan. He highlighted that the Special Investment Facilitation Council has been established to streamline and facilitate foreign investment across key sectors including agriculture, energy, technology, and infrastructure. Jam Kamal Khan noted that building partnerships will drive economic growth and mutual prosperity. He emphasized that both the countries must work together to ensure early finalization of the draft memorandum on cooperation in the field of environmental protection. He also called for greater people-to-people contacts, cultural exchanges, and educational partnerships between the two countries to further strengthen the bilateral relations. The Qatar Amiri naval ship Al Khor visited Karachi and was warmly welcomed by Pakistan Navy officers and sailors. During the visit, the commanding officer of the visiting ship paid homage at the Mazar-e-Qaid. He also called on the Commander of Pakistan Fleet, Vice Admiral Faisal Abbasi. During the meeting, he appreciated the efforts of the Pakistan Navy in promoting peace and security in the region. Additionally, matters of mutual interest in enhancing bilateral cooperation were also discussed. The significant visit of the Qatari ship not only underscores the strong diplomatic ties between both the countries, but also present an opportunity to further augment defense and bilateral relations. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the Bharatiya Janata Party regime has suspended 26 more Kashmiri workers and employees as part of the occupation regime's policy to marginalize the local population. Since August 2019, many Kashmiri employees in the territory have faced suspension under different pretexts. Meanwhile, the Modi-led Indian regime has further tightened restrictions in the occupied territory ahead of an orchestrated visit by the foreign delegates. The Indian troops are carrying out intensive checking and frisking, creating an atmosphere of fear and intimidation. Posters appearing across the occupied territory have condemned the visit of foreign delegates. The posters read that the Modi regime is misleading the world to mask the grim reality of India's human rights abuses in the occupied territory. The United Nations Human Rights Office has called for protection of civilians in Lebanon amid unabated Israeli air attacks. In a statement, Human Rights Office spokesperson Ravina Shamdasani termed Monday the deadliest day of violence in years, as over 500 people, including many children, were killed within 24 hours by the Israeli strikes. And finally, the weather report. Hot and humid weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.